everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy and I am here with a haul for you guys today. I hope that you'll enjoy sticking around to see what kind of stuff I got. And I should probably, instead of starting out with the talking, I should probably haul some things and then do some talking. But I am hoping to film multiple episodes tonight while I've got one kid that's still at Mizzou, and then one kid that's working, and then Jason took the other two to a movie. So I've got all night to film because I'm finding it really hard to find filming time anymore. So I apologize that I've not been posting as regularly as I would like to, but thanks for being here to watch this one. And yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it. So this stuff is from Dollar Tree, Goodwill, flea markets, and antique stores. You guys, I can't stop spending. This is the bad side of Temu. Okay, for someone like me, I do not have vice. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, but apparently spending is my kryptonite. And Temu got me in the habit of buying lots of things because they were so cheap. I could get deals. I was getting influencer money from Temu. I was getting YouTube money for having the channel. And so it all kind of supported itself and worked. And then when the Temu influencer money went away, I had built up this habit of spending, of buying things, and now you guys, I need help. And I say this, I've been saying this the last several videos, and yet here I am with more stuff. So yeah, that's the dark side of being a hauling. I shouldn't call myself an influencer because I really don't influence people. But, and maybe some of you watch just because you're like, how can this girl buy so much stuff? Where does she put it? Well, I don't know either. So yeah, so I should start this over. This is the second time I've already started this video over, and I'm just a hot mess today, and I apologize, and hopefully you'll just bear with me. And if you need to laugh at me because you think I'm so ridiculous, that's fine. Whatever. I will cry off camera later and be okay, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you see how hot of a mess this is to start. Is anybody even still watching? Probably not. All right. So anyway, I'm going to try to show a variety of things so that we don't get too bored, because I tend to be drawn to the same types of things when I go to these places, but I'll try to kind of break it up. I don't know how many videos this haul will end up being, but I need the content. Otherwise, I'd say I would just record till I'm done, but I don't think the long videos really work as well for me like they do for the really good channels. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go for quantity this time instead of, well, hopefully there will be some quality too, but anyway. All right, this I picked up at the Goodwill, and I'm always intrigued by fashion. I think fashion, old-time fashion, is great for junk journaling and for crafting with. And so this one I thought was intriguing, the Great Hollywood Costume Designs of the 1930s. This was at the Goodwill for $1.93. So I thought, even if it's not very good, it didn't cost very much. It's got these great images. So what it ended up being was just a bunch of pictures of the great starlets from the 30s in their, either maybe what they wore in a movie or for press events, that kind of thing. And so it's just a bunch of, I don't know, they're not even, like, I don't know if these would have been in magazines, like I don't know where these kind of things were, but it's great fashion. So I haven't decided if I'm going to if I'm going to cut some of these out or if I'm going to leave them as whole pages. I don't know yet. But anyway, I thought these were neat. Now, I would have rather had illustrated fashion pictures would be more what I like, but I still thought that was fun. So, and for the price, okay. Another thing I got at the Goodwill, it's probably kind of weird to buy this kind of stuff at the Goodwill, and I don't even know, this was $2.86. I don't know what this would cost at a Walmart, so I don't know if I was getting a good deal, but you can see it holds 5 pictures, and I thought that this would be good in a binder to put my postcards, my real postcards, not my Temu postcards, so that I could see them. And I'm not wanting to keep any of those postcards, I don't think, but I want to start putting them in the journals that I'm going to make. So I've got on my journals, I've got the pages ready. So what I'm going to be doing is using Reader's Digest, the old Reader's Digest with pretty covers. And so I've cut my pages to fit in that. And then I'm going to be, I haven't decided if I'm going to, because I've seen it both ways on Instagram where some people load up the junk journal with, like they add the pockets and everything into the junk journal and load it all up in that. But then I've also seen some people have like a plain junk journal with the vintage pages, and then they have a ephemera kit that goes with it so that the purchaser can put the pockets and stuff wherever they want to. So I can't decide which way to go. Maybe I should try it both ways and see which one sells better. But I'm trying to come up with ways to more easily see the ephemera that I've got so that when I start compiling these, I'll have a better idea. But like when people have a fairly decent size order in my Etsy shop, which is linked below, I will put together kind of a freebie pack for them, and I fold some paper so it's like a folded paper thing, and then I stuff it with things. So those are the kind of things that I want to be able to see more so that I can make some cool things. So I thought they had 2, so I got 2 of them. But yeah, I struggle with how to organize all this stuff that I'm buying, because I feel like I'm buying enough stuff to have my own store, which I would love to have my own store, but I think I probably wouldn't love to have my own store because, for one, the rent would be crazy, and I don't think I could ever make enough money for it to pay for itself, let alone have insurance and all this stuff. So then I'm like, okay, well, actually, okay, well, we're kind of off topic, but if you're a messy like me, or have hoarding tendencies, or you're super sentimental, see, I've got all of those, and they work together in an unfortunate way in my life. And I also have this strong desire to be organized, but the creative things are more fun to do, so I spend less time doing the organization that really you need to have both if you're ever going to be successful, I feel like. So I don't know if I'll find it for this video, but I started working on a decision tree because I'm like, I've got to get a hold of the chaos, the physical chaos that's in my house. I got to get a hold of it, but it's super hard for me. I've read so many books on the subject. There are so many people with great channels and TikTok accounts and everything that have all these great ideas, and those just don't work for me. And I don't know why that is, but so I decided that I would start working on creating a decision tree for myself. And one of the decision trees that I think I've kind of got, I might have to fine tune it over time, but it's you pick up this item, and then you go through a series of questions. And once you're done, there's like several different places where this item might land depending on the answers to the questions. And it's, for most of you that don't struggle like I do, you could easily set up, your 4 boxes that are keep, giveaway, donate, trash. And you would have no trouble going through a room and easily putting the things in the buckets and then taking the buckets to where they go and doing their stuff. I know how to do that, but I just can't for some reason. And so that's what this decision tree is going to hopefully help me to kind of, because everything's emotional for me when I start thinking about these things. And that's the sentimental part of me coming through. And so, yeah, so this decision tree is going to help me get the things into the appropriate place to be dealt with. And then one of the places that it might land to be dealt with is things to sell. And so then I've also got kind of a decision tree that I'm building on how to sell it, because that can be complicated too. If it's, for example, well, I've got that decision tree here. So I'll hold this up in case you're someone who struggles like me and you want to steal my idea. But so I'm like, and each person, if they were trying to create this for themselves, the questions would be in different orders. They'd have different questions, yada, yada, yada. But if I know I want to sell it, how much do I want to sell it? Or do I know how much I need to sell it for? And if I don't, then I go do stuff. And then it comes to a point where, is the item too heavy to ship? Because, well, nothing's too heavy to ship, but some things would be difficult to ship. And you hear the stories of other channels that do these big giveaways, and then they have to mail these things out, and it's just super expensive. And even though in my situation, the seller would be paying that cost, it could still be cost prohibitive, really, unless it's something they really, really want. But let's say I have an enamel cast iron pot that I want to sell. That's super heavy. So one of my questions is it too heavy to ship? Well, no, it's not, but for me it is, okay? And so if that's the case, then I need to list it on Facebook Marketplace where there's a pickup situation happening. So I'm hoping that these decision trees will help me, because I really struggle with this. So there's a little weird commercial there or not commercial, but if you're someone like me that struggles with that, maybe a decision tree would work for you. And if I find the one that I've got to deal with the stuff, I'll hold it up on the screen for a different, whenever I find it, because maybe, well, okay, so I know the first question on that one is this something I need to keep? Meaning, I don't want to get rid of it. And then from there, it's like, is it something I need for my active everyday life, or is it something, well, I answer that question, and then, maybe the answer is no, but I still want to keep it. So then maybe it can go in deep storage, kind of thing. So yeah, I apologize for kind of getting off track, but that's kind of what this channel is becoming. We're dealing with life here, and my life has become so chaotic that I don't know what to do. So let's show another thing. Now this I didn't buy. This is a music box that my grandparents bought for my parents as a wedding present. They bought it when they were visiting my uncle and his wife. He was stationed in Germany in the early 70s. And my grandparents went over there to visit them, and they went to Austria, and they picked up this music box. And Innsbruck, Maria Center, I don't know. But the song it plays is Edelweiss. And I won't play it, but, and I'm not, oh, here. So I was watching a Seven Plaza video. One of her, I like to watch her thrift hauls. I don't watch too many of her crafting hauls just because I don't craft, unfortunately, usually. Although they are great videos. But anyway, she was showing some cards that she got on a thrift run, and I recognized the cards. Now, the ones that she got were full-size cards, but I have the minis of them. And so I took a picture, a screenshot of her video, and I sent it to my dad, and I was like, these are the same cards, right? But hers are bigger. And my dad's like, yeah, my parents got those over in Austria, in Austria. And then, you know, so talking to him about that, and I was not allowed to play with these cards when I was a kid, okay? These were super special cards. They lived in the music box. Occasionally, they would let me play the song of the music box, but they were super special. But then when my kids come along, they got put in this tin, and the kids were allowed to play with them and do whatever they wanted with them. So anyway, we got to talking, and Saturday, Dad gave me the cards and the music box, because we're kind of to that phase where they're giving away their stuff that you can't take it with you, right? I haven't gotten to the age yet where I feel like I need to start doing my Swedish death cleaning, but I think my dad's kind of there. So that was super special, and it was weird. It had, well, I can't show you guys, but it was full of address labels and 1-cent stamps from before there were forever stamps. So the cards were taken out, made way for address stamps. But anyway, so that was, see, so I think part of the reason too why I wanted to show you guys this is I need to make space in my life for these kind of things, because I'm filling my space with all this stuff that I'm ultimately wanting to flip, and it's not leaving me room to display and enjoy the things like this. So yeah, so that's where I'm hoping these decision trees will help me. And who knows, maybe I can get really good at that and sell those. I don't know. I always want to just sell everything. All right, so I got this book at the at the Goodwill for $1.93, and it must be a series, but I thought these would be really fun to cut out, these little pictures back here. And so what is this? How to mix colors and materials to use for the amateur, student, artist, decorator, and house painter. And then it just had these cool pictures in here. So I thought those would be fun to kind of cut out and put places. And this book, is it even going to tell me? Like sometimes you can't find, this is Walter Foster, in case he's an artist you're familiar with. But yeah, I can't even find like there's no title page in here, so I don't know if it was ripped out or if it just never existed. So, well, it starts with page 3, so perhaps I am missing the title page. But anyway, it was originally $2. I got it for $1.93, and so I thought that would be worth doing something with. And then I'm always on the hunt for vintage playing cards, because I do actually do pretty well selling those in my Etsy shop, which is linked below. And I am working right now on gathering stuff for I'm going to be doing a release and sale on Labor Day weekend. So I'm right now trying to gather up everything that I want to list and sell that weekend. And this is one of those. So this is a bridge set that comes with 2 decks of cards and then score sheets and a pencil. So this was a complete set. Jason found this one, and I love flowers, and I'll use the cards in my swap card listings, but then I use the pages from this because I'm going to be having a score sheet pack, a vintage score sheet kit. So this set was $10 at one of the antique stores. And then I'll just show some of the other, well, okay, so I have some canasta cards that are canasta in this exact same font, but they have a dog. And that set came with like 2 decks of that. And I prefer to have sets where there's 2 different cards. So I got this one to go with that so that I could sell them as a pair with the dog and with this. And I like the box. So I don't know how much this costs, because a lot of antique stores, they take off the price tags, which is inconvenient. But it is what it is. And then these I bought off of, hang on, let me get the elastic band to put back on that set. Okay, these I bought off of eBay, and I really have got to stop. I've got to either delete the app or something, because I'll look through eBay for things that I'm interested in and I'll favorite them, and then the seller comes back a lot of times with a better price. So that's a trick. If you're not as familiar with buying things on eBay, if you heart it or favorite it, then a lot of sellers have a mechanism set up to offer you a better price so that you'll buy it. And a lot of times I do, unfortunately, turn around and buy it. And this was one of those cases. I have been intrigued lately with these vintage mid-century cards, specifically birth announcement kind of cards. And so I got this whole pack. You guys, it was probably $20 for this, okay? Which probably is not a very good deal. I don't know. But I think they're super cute. There was a couple that didn't have corresponding envelopes, and then there were a couple of envelopes that didn't have corresponding cards. But then for the most part, everything else kind of had a card. And then there were, I'll just show you the different ones that I got. And these are great for crafting with, because you can cut out the little poem or whatever it is. I mean, I love the artwork from that time period. And sometimes they have the year on the card, but this one doesn't. But then if you put it in a junk journal, for example, the person can always open this up and have all this writing space. So I don't even mind if they're used, you know, if they already say, so, and you know, if they're made out to so-and-so, because I think I did get some cards recently that it was for a specific baby's announcement, and I actually looked the person up and they had died in 2014, which is probably how the cards came to be available. Is that the same? Oh, that was the same one. But I don't know, I just think they're so adorable, and they really add, I really like putting, or the idea of putting this kind of stuff in things that I sell. And then there were also 3 unopened packs, and each pack had 6. And I don't know, I don't know if we were just too poor to do this kind of thing when we had our children, or if people just don't really do that anymore. But we never did this with ours. Now, that's not to say people didn't send us cards, congratulations cards for when we had a kid, but we never sent out announcements or anything. And, but the artwork on stuff nowadays is so commercialized that it's just not as interesting to me as these old ones are. So yeah, so I think about 20 bucks on eBay if I had to guess. And then I love Hallmark brand playing cards. And if you recognize these, this is Betsy Clark is the artist, and she did a lot of cards for Hallmark back in the day. And the Hallmark ones typically have a kind of a pastel or a color coordinating base for them. And so I just really love these. These are really reminiscent of Precious Moments, but I don't think they are Precious Moments, but they're very similar. And I don't know, like I said, I find cards for so many different prices that I try to stick to $10 or less, but sometimes I fail. This is another Hallmark set, and they're just whimsical. So I like picking those up. But see, this one, well, let me make sure. I think both decks of bees were the same, but let me just make sure that it's not just that the cards have slid. Okay, those were all the same. Oh, they are. Okay, good. They are two different designs. Usually the Hallmark ones are, but on occasion. So these are the two. But isn't that great? The little mushrooms, and so I love this kind of stuff. And like I said, I actually have successfully sold cards multiple times in my Etsy shop for collectors, because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get one of every single card that exists kind of situation. So yeah, so I love finding that kind of stuff. And then I've been, for my personal collection, why I needed a personal collection of this, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, I need something to collect, and I can't just look around and see all the things that I've collected. But I really like these Rand McNally books. And I will say, if the viewer that emailed me asking me to look for the Ballerinas book, I look for that everywhere I go, and I still have not found it. So, but I check, because usually these Rand McNally books are also with people that have the little golden books, the Telltale books, and so I'm always checking through there. But these I thought all looked kind of cute, and they've got on the back, they've got the list. So I'm like trying to create a collection of these, because I think this is the kind of stuff I want to share with my grandkids when they come over and want to read. So I want to get some, not that there aren't good quality books made today for kids. There's tons, but I don't know, there's just something so sweet about these. And I want to say these were like $3.50 a piece, which is kind of pricey, but they're old. They're from, let's see when they're from. But I mean, look how sweet this is. And they're not in the best of shape because they're so old, but and this one, well, this one is like missing a page, but this one was only $1. So, but this is from, it's probably missing the page that says, it's missing the page with the copyright date. So let's just look at a different one. But I mean, isn't that so sweet? Oh, is this one? Oh, it's on the front. Okay. I got to do, it's the Roman numerals, so it's 1945. So yeah, they're old, and I don't know, I just have an affinity for older things. But games is usually one of the things I look for, especially games that have money or playing cards, or not like rummy playing cards, but like, well, you know how Monopoly has the property cards and the chance and the community chest. So I like to find games that have pieces like that, because those can be used as ephemera. And I've been looking for a Payday game. This is the same version of Payday that I had when I was a kid, because this one would have come out in the 80s. Let me see if it's got a date on here. Usually these Parker Brothers ones have a date on the outside. 1975. Oh, it's as old as me. So, this one's probably, where's my little kit with my scissors? Oh, up here, so that I could find it easily. So let me cut this open. Not like you guys don't know what Payday looks like, but maybe you don't know what Payday looks like. This was $4.79. Now, we were in Columbia on Sunday. Do you hear that noise? I think it's the air conditioning. That is super annoying. I hope you can't hear that, because you probably will turn it off if you hear that. And here I've pointed it out. But we were at a Goodwill in Columbia, Missouri, because it was Parents' Day for Gracie at her Scholar Academy thing. You guys, I don't know if it's because it's a college town or what, but all of their books were $7 something at a Goodwill. That's insane. So I didn't get any books there. I think I did find some things like in the regular section that weren't ridiculous, but yeah, that was ridiculous. But with these kind of games that have the boards, you can also cut up the boards and make bookmarks and that kind of thing. But I'm hoping, because I couldn't, get into this. Okay, it does look like it's got a lot of the stuff. So yeah, this brings back so many memories, you guys. I loved playing this game, and I'm not gonna lie, I was an only child and I played this game a lot by myself. But it's got money that looks like this, and it had mail cards. So I had most of these mail cards memorized, and then it's also got a score sheet. Yay! So another different kind of score sheet to put in my score sheet pack. And then of course, oh, it's got deal cards. That's right. So we've also got, oh, then this was like the best one. Well, no, this was the second best one. The best one was only $1,000 for 2,500. So I was just like, see, I'm a goner. And then it's got these little player pieces, which I don't know if I'll sell that kind of thing. Those will probably be more for a bucket that we keep here for when we're playing a game and can't find a piece, or maybe we're playing a game that's only for 6 people, but we have 8. So we need an extra player piece. So yeah, so there's that. And I also always look for bingo games, because I'm working on building a bingo ephemera pack to where I've got a ton of, like, all the cards that are in here right now, there's no duplicates, and there's at least 10 cards right now that are all different. But as I keep finding bingo sets out in the wild, I'm like, Galia bought me this one. She found it at a Goodwill for $302. So this is a different kind of one. It's not old, but, well, okay, it is. It is technically vintage. It's from 2002. So, but yeah, so let me just show you. I've got the time bingo, which is a little bit different. And then I've also got, so I try to, if I had pieces that go with it, so like here were some of the time pieces, but then I also had bingo playing cards. So I've got bingo, 5 in here to make bingo. And then I just, as I find, okay, you guys, this one's my favorite, and I don't remember what the box looked like, but I've never found these again. It's only I only found these once. But these are super cool. I think these might be the oldest ones in it. And then also a lotto card. I felt like that was close enough to bingo. So yeah, so I'm trying to create a pack of just a whole bunch of different bingo cards, no duplicates kind of thing, and see if, I mean, who knows if it'll sell or not, but it's kind of fun curating for it. Hang on, let me get this. Okay, who else? I'm probably the only one, but I hate how these Ziploc bags now are made to stand. I hate that because it's great for food, which is, you know, its main purpose, but it's horrible for crafting things when you want stuff to be flat. Now the Dollar Tree does still sell the kind that don't stand, so I do try to look there. But yeah, so I picked up, this one was also sealed, so let's look at it. So yeah, sometimes I'll pass on a bingo set. If it's one that I know I already have a bunch of cards like that, I'll pass on it. And I found one that they wanted $15 for the box, and it only had 7 cards in it, and that's just not worth it. I'll just, you know, wait and hope that I find it again from somebody that's selling it cheaper. But I think this is the old Milton Bradley ones. Is there a year on this? Not on the outside. Oh no, someone lost the sheet, so they had to make their own. Oh, that's kind of neat though. And it's got the wooden pieces, which is nice. It's got a shaker box, which presumably has the numbers. Oh, and they had to even, oh my goodness. So they had to even make some of those themselves. That's kind of funny. But I don't think I had any wooden ones of these yet, so that'll be nice to add to the kit. So yeah, I guess you would shake this up and then they would come out of here. And then it's got the super old bingo cards, and it looks like it's got a bunch of them. So that was a good deal. How good of a deal was it? I don't know, because the tag is not on here anymore. So I want to say that I only paid $5 for this box. So that I think was a good deal. And then I'll just show one more bingo one on here. Stork Bingo. And this one is, I thought I saw it on the outside, 1957. And is it taped anywhere? It doesn't look taped anywhere. So I haven't decided what to do with all of these yet. Perhaps just make a kit of just those. Aw, those are adorable. So yeah, so I am really having fun finding all different kinds of bingos. It seems probably silly, but I don't know. I love it. All right, how are we doing on time? Okay, let's do another. This was not something bought. This was something that my dad gave me Saturday in addition to the cards in the music box. This, my grandfather made. My grandfather was a very skilled carpenter. So he was kind of a Renaissance man, if I can brag on him for a minute. He was a state recognized high school physics teacher. And after, when he got to the point where he was allowed to retire with full pension or whatever from the state of Indiana, he did retire. And then he went and worked for H&R Block for 20 years. And granted, that's a part-time thing, but then he also built furniture. Like he built this, and just, I have several pieces. Well, he also built this. He used to keep this on his roll top desk that he built, which I also own. And for some reason, Dad was like, would you want this? I'm like, heck yeah, I'd want this. A spot for pens and pencils, I guess. And so cherry typically is my favorite stain on wood. Now this is walnut stain, and tiger eye is my favorite grain, and tiger oak. And I know you have to, that look is achieved by the way they slice it on an angle or something. Anyway, but yeah, so I thought, so I'm like, yeah, yes, I'll take that home. Show all my friends. All right, let's see what's in this box. Oh, okay, so when I was a kid, that's the other thing. When I find things that I had when I was a kid, and my parents still have this, so I really didn't need to buy it, except that, well, what is it? So it's Bible dominoes, you guys. Now, this, I'm looking for a date. I don't see a date on this. Now, I had a set of these when I was a kid. My parents still have it, and it's like a set of dominoes up to 6. So, so I went through, I'm getting all over the place. The ones that I had when I was growing up, there was a duplicate domino in it. So you couldn't technically play it till there would, well, it was missing a domino. It had a double of one and it was missing another one. So I found this and I was like, oh, I'll finally have a complete set. And this is what they look like. Maybe if any of you had these when you were a kid, you're getting some warm fuzzies. And I don't remember, I want to say it was the church that was duplicated in that set. Well, this one is missing one. Now, the seller was smart, and they had the top row, the pieces going like this, so you couldn't tell per se. But after I got it in the car, I went through, and it's missing the 4-4 domino. So, still didn't get my complete set. So, but now with having the 2, as long as it wasn't the 4-4 that was missing in the other one, I'll at least have a complete set. And then I can sell off the pieces of the other one. But I don't know, I love these, you guys, and they're just chipboard. But I have never seen these in the wild. And when you look them up on eBay, they're super expensive. And this was only $10, possibly because it was missing one. But it found the right home. I had to take it home. I mean, like, there was no question. I saw it. And do you ever have that where you see something and you're like, I don't care what it costs, I am taking it home? And that was what that was for me. And then I also found these cards, dogs that have gone duck hunting. So the poor ducks in here are well, dead, but these are, oh, it doesn't say, does it? I thought these were Congress cards, but now I'm not sure. They look like they say Concord, because this kind of box is kind of typical of Congress cards. So yeah, well, you don't care what brand they are. But anyway, so I picked those up. And no idea what the price is because it was an antique store that took it off. And then I found, I also like Raggedy Ann books, and they probably still publish those books modern day, but I like finding these old ones. And this one was, this booth had several, but this was the cheapest one, probably because it's in bad shape. I mean, it's like coming apart, but that just means I can tear it apart without feeling guilty, because it's literally already coming undone. And then perhaps I can make a journal with this cover. Even though it's super beat up, it's still fun. But it's got such pretty, the artwork from these, I don't know if they still, because wasn't it the author that did the artwork? Like it was a one-stop shop kind of thing. So I don't know if the new modern day versions of Raggedy Ann, and see it's got some staining on it, have these same images, but I think that's super fun. And like this, if you took this whole page out and folded it right here so that the fold was coming up behind it, you'd have a double pocket. So, which I'm sure those of you that are into junk journaling already know that, but I just think that's fun. And how old was this book? Is that page still here? By Johnny Gruel. Oh, so see, they tried to do some repair. Copyright 1928. Wow, that's an old one. So I love that. All right, I'm running out of space, but we still have some more time. I'm trying to go for about an hour on this video before I start again. All right. Let's see what kind of, let's go back. Well, I just showed you a book, but let's show you another book because that'll help me clear some stuff out before the next video. So this was $1.93 at the Goodwill. Now, books at the bins, the Goodwill bins, are way cheaper because they just charge you like 15 cents an inch or something crazy like that. So anytime I find books at a real Goodwill, it's more expensive, but it's still cheap. Oh, and this one's even got the library card in it still. So, but it's got great pages to fussy cut. And it's very rare I can find a plant book in a regular Goodwill. So I thought that I would pick that up and enjoy that. But so I was telling you, my life kind of feels like a mess, and like every part of my life feels like a mess. I feel like work is a mess right now. There's things going on at work that are stressful, super stressful. And work typically was the place where I was like, even if the rest of the world's burning down, work is usually my safe place, and it's not my safe place anymore. So that is creating a lot of stress. So I've got stress there, and I can't talk about that because it's work, and I can't talk about that. But then I've also got, of course, the stuff with my mom and her Alzheimer's, and she does have a new caregiver that started last Wednesday. And one of the things that we were hoping the caregiver would be able to help with is hygiene. But and I think I would be this way too. I wouldn't want to strip down in front of a stranger. Okay. Well, the first thing that this new caregiver asked, or one of the first things, was like, to my mom, was like, okay, well, what's your regular day for showering? You know, so we can get that taken care of. And I'm like, I wonder, maybe that is the right approach, but I'm curious to see how this goes. But unlike the last person that was only there on Fridays, now Dad's decided to have somebody come Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to hopefully build a stronger rapport, maybe, because they'll just have more contact. So she was there again yesterday, and I haven't heard anything bad, but I haven't heard anything good yet either. So I don't know. And Peanut's trying to figure out how to get over here without knocking everything over. So I've got that, and then I told you at the beginning, or maybe I told you at the beginning of the one I deleted, but that being a parent is hard right now. Stuff that not really prepared to deal with or know how to deal with per se. So yeah, so that's not easy right now. And then of course, just me, I'm not doing so well because of this spending that's out of control and stuff. And so it's just all a lot. And I'm trying to figure out if I was talking to another YouTuber, and I was like, maybe this, not all dreams are successful. Okay. And I was like, maybe this YouTube dream just is not meant to be a success story for me. And, I mean, I think if it were meant to be a success story, it would have progressed more than it has. Not that, and I don't say any of this to devalue those of you that are still watching at this point. Okay. It's not that. It's just, you have dreams, and sometimes there's a grief process when you realize those dreams are not going to come true. And there's, you know, reality that you have to deal with that. And not that means you just end the channel kind of situation, but it's never going to be what you hoped it was going to be. So then it's like, okay, well, what's a happy alternative kind of situation? I think that's where I'm at right now, because like with Temu, I still can't order from Temu. And Double T's Treasures she posted something to her page saying that now there's like a filter ships from Temu. I don't have that filter yet. So I don't know. I don't know why. I'm in a metropolitan area. I don't understand. But so I don't know. I don't know, you guys. So yeah. So I've been struggling like a fish out of water with that and everything. And I hate that it's affecting me that way. Like, how did I let Temu get such a hold on my behavior, right? So yeah, so everything is just kind of a mess, a sloppy mess. And I know a lot of you can relate in your own ways. And so I appreciate having the chance to vent and share about it. And you can always feel free to vent in the comments if you're having a similar kind of a day. But yeah, I don't know. So I think I'm probably going through the stages of grief with this channel. I think when I first got dropped as an influencer, I kind of started going through the denial, the bargaining, and none of that was successful. So now I have to go through, I don't know if acceptance is the final stage. I know there's, well, I don't know what all the stages are, I guess I should say, but yeah, it feels like a death, which is extremely shallow to say, right? Because it's not. I mean, it's not a person, but it's a dream, and that feels a little sad to me. I think a bird just flew into the window. Or there's a kid outside hoping Gregory will come out and play. But yeah, something just hit the window. All right, let's show a couple more things before we go to TV, nostalgic TV trivia. All right, I got this at a antique store, and this was $25. So I spent up for this, paid up for this, but I thought it was so cool. Now this was, I think when I looked, this was copyrighted 1987. So it is vintage, but it's not like, I have a book, an actual book of actual it's newspaper, if you couldn't see this. I have an actual book of bound newspapers from the 30s, which is super cool. This is similar, but obviously it's not the actual newspapers. But these are from the LA Times, and it goes from, well, shoot, let's see, 1881. So I think it goes from 1881 to 1987 because the, you know, publisher date. And then it's just, I don't know if this was the actual front page, because it's got the stuff at the top, but it could be that they replaced some parts of it with other stories that fit, or maybe this really is literally the first page. But it's just chock full of like the big headlines from these time periods. And I just thought that was cool. So even though it's not the real newspaper, it's pretty gosh darn close. And so I will enjoy kind of taking this apart for stuff. So Kennedy shot. Oh, that must be RFK, right? I'm trying to read this backwards. Wounded in the head. That is RFK, right? Yeah. There was a page in here when Elvis died. Obviously, there was a bunch of war headlines. Obviously, there was a lot of people that well, like John Lennon was killed during this time frame. Elvis died. Pope John Paul was shot 3 times. Reagan shot. So it has those kind of headlines. And I just thought that was some fun ephemera. All right, let's see what else we can get through. All right, so we have this. I don't really remember. It says photo log. Oh, pilot log. Okay. I think this was $6. And so it's got actual pilot. Like, what does that mean? It's got the make of the aircraft, the certificate number, make of the engine. This particular, oh, so these were in Indiana because we've got Muncie to Newcastle, Kokomo to Marion, Lafayette to Crawfordsville, and then remarks or inspector's signature. And most of these flights were solo flights, it looks like. But, and then this whole page is Kokomo. So, but it doesn't say what the purpose of the flight was for. And then it had some blank pages at the end. So I love finding stuff like this because these kind of pages are great for junk journaling. So anytime I find, usually, I mean, this was a pretty good price, $6. So, and in this particular antique mall store or whatever, they had a ton of stereoscope cards, and I've been trying to find stereoscope cards, and they had a ton of them, but they were like $2 and $3 a piece, which I just can't bring myself to spend. But this particular antique mall, this one was just west of Columbia, and it had a ton of like postcards and stuff. So it was a cool place. But so I was kind of surprised to find that for what seemed like a really good deal. And then I'm just going to go through the rest of these cards real quick so I can get this bag out of the way. But we've got some American Eagle playing cards. And some of these Jason picked up for me, so I don't know exactly. This one may have been $6 for this box. Are these all the same on both sides? Hang on. So it looks like this, which makes me think like Norwegian, but it says avec moi at the top, so I guess French. I'm really kind of hoping it's not just 2 decks of the exact same thing, but I think it is. Yeah, it's 2 decks of the exact same thing, but that's okay. So yeah, so I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be having a big release on my Etsy shop for Labor Day with a sale. So I'll be sharing the sale code, but I'm going to be doing a, I need to set up a membership list. And so I'm going to be at the end of one of these videos, I don't know which one it'll be, I'm going to have a link to a form where you can sign up to be on my email membership list. And I don't share that with anybody, but that way you'll get exclusive access, early access to the stuff that I'm going to be selling on Etsy. And you'll also get a free digital when you sign up. So we've got some horses, horse playing cards. This is kind of a different looking, is this like a flip top? Yeah, it's a hinged top. So I don't know who makes, oh, the United States Playing Card Company out of Cincinnati, where I was born. Can I give you any more helpful information so that you can steal my identity? All right, and then we've got some Duratone cards that look like this. What is that? They're pinochle cards. Oh, and they just have like games on them. Is that really what's in here? A lot. Okay, so some of these non-Congress brands I get tricked on, and the card on the outside doesn't end up being the same as the card on the inside. It's happened twice, but those were both Lord Baltimore cards. Okay, so it looks like we're okay. So those will be fun. And then the last one that we'll do in this video are these weird cards. Land Construction Company. Are they advertising? It's kind of weird. But yeah, so that's the cards for those. So I don't know, they look pretty dated. They've got some really good patina on these cards. And there's so many videos out there of people that upcycle vintage cards like this. I don't know, some people upcycle this side because they want to leave this side intact, and some people do the opposite. If you were going to do the opposite though, where you covered up this side, I don't know why you'd pay for a vintage card then, except that maybe you like the patina on this side, I guess. But yeah, there's so many videos out there. A lot of them involve sewing, which I don't do. Although you could probably use one of those Temu handy stitch things. But, all right, so Peanut is over here. Peanut and Pistachio love when I get stuff because everything smells weird. So she's trying to get at something. But anyway, we've made it to an hour. Let's end with some nostalgic TV trivia. And then I'll try to get this uploaded because I really want this to post tonight, although it might be late. What time is it already? It's already 7:49, so I got to get cracking. All right, so nostalgic TV trivia. Davy Jones and Peter Tork were part of what series? What was Lucy's son's name on I Love Lucy? Who was the puppet on the Lucky Pup show? What was George Superman Reeves' real name? Who was Ed Nelson's character on Peyton Place? Mary Fran of Newhart formerly appeared on which soap opera? Who played CPO Sharky? Who played Bumper Morgan in The Blue Knight? All right, I know a couple of these, I think. Davy Jones and Peter Tork were part of what series? Well, that's the Monkees, right? Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. And then they would go on Brady Bunch. All right, what was, oh, that's falling over. Okay, what was Lucy's son's name on I Love Lucy? Well, it was little Ricky. So Ricky Ricardo Jr. Who was the puppet on the Lucky Pup show? Now it says puppet, not puppeteer. I don't know, Lucky? What was George Superman Reeves' real name? Well, I know I've read that before because I've kind of read his biography. He died under mysterious circumstances, and there's all these conspiracy theories. Did he take his own life? Did he, was he murdered? You know, whatever. But I feel like maybe the George was real, but the Reeves wasn't. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Who was Ed Nelson's character on Peyton Place? I have no idea. That's one of the shows that I've never watched, so I'm just going to say Ed. Because when I don't know, I try to just pick something from the question itself. All right, Mary Fran of Newhart formerly appeared on which soap opera? I don't know. I'm not even sure which soap operas were around back then. So I'm going to say, shoot, I want to say something like Loving, but I don't know if Loving was around back then. As the World Turns. Like, I know Days of Our Lives was around back then, but was General Hospital, like I don't know how old some of these shows are. So I don't think she was on Days of Our Lives. Guiding Light? Let's say Guiding Light. I should just always make Guiding Light my standard answer. But Mary Fran, okay, I watched Newhart. I loved that show. Hi, this is Daryl. No. What was his name? And then it was like, this is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. Shoot, I said this in another one, and one of you were like, oh yeah, I say that all the time. Okay, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I watched that show, and I think that series had the best series finale of any show because it was Bob Newhart. And at the very end of the show, he wakes up in the Bob Newhart show with Emily, his wife Emily, and the kind of the decorations or, you know, interiors. And it turns out Newhart was just a dream of Bob Hartley in the Newhart show. So I think that was the best series finale. And poor Mary Fran, I don't think she lived too much longer after that show because she got a brain aneurysm or something and died. See, you see how I'm always like telling you what people's death stories are? I don't know why that is, but like when I go and if I'm watching a movie or something, I'll go into IMDb and then I'll like go down rabbit holes where I read about that stuff. All right, anyway, who played CPO Sharky? I have no idea. I don't even know what show that was. So we'll say Chris. No. Who played Bumper Morgan in The Blue Knight? Well, Bumper Morgan, of course. So I don't know the answer to that either. All right, so the answers. Davy Jones and Peter Tork were part of what series? The Monkees. What was Lucy's son's name on I Love Lucy? It was, in fact, Little Ricky. Who was the puppet on the Lucky Pup show? It was Pinhead. What was George Superman Reeves' real name? Okay, I get half a point for this because I said that I thought George was right and Reeves was not. That is correct. It was George Basello. And then who was Ed Nelson's character on Peyton Place? Dr. Michael Rossi. Oh, dang it. Mary Fran was on Days of Our Lives. Now, see, I should just always pick Days of Our Lives because that's the only soap. Well, I watched Santa Barbara. But Days of Our Lives is the only soap I really ever watched. But I did that like during my college. So like the early 90s. So I don't know about, except for like the main families. So I wonder what character she was on there. It doesn't say, it just says Days of Our Lives. All right, who played CPO Sharky? Don Rickles. So was that a comedy show then, or was that a character on a variety show? Who played Bumper Morgan in The Blue Knight? George Kennedy. I feel like he died not that long ago. So, all right. Well, how'd you do? Let me know in the comments. And let me get my phone real quick so I can say thank you to all of you. So thank you for watching if you've got this far. And thank you for all the support. You guys really don't realize how much this channel means to me. I really need to do better at not complaining when this channel doesn't do well. I need to just stop doing that, okay? And I know I need to stop, and I'm sorry that I haven't stopped yet. But this channel means a lot to me. I'm an introvert. I don't have any friends. And so I'm busy raising my family, and that just doesn't, I don't know. I'm just not the kind of person that has ever had friends that I went out and did stuff with. I don't know. I'm a sad sack, I guess. But this channel really does mean a lot to me. And the fact that you all watch this and leave your kind comments and subscribe, that really does mean a lot to me. So I am so sorry if I ever make any of you feel less than when I start complaining about how this channel is doing. I really don't mean to do that. And then I would also like to thank my members. And that would be Miss Mary, Julie, KT, Favorites with Laura. I hope your husband is doing okay. I haven't watched your video yet where you did an update. Darlene, Hey Everybody, and Pam. And I gotta say a special thanks to Hey Everybody because she's okay, for a channel like mine, there is absolutely no reason why she should give me the time of day. But she is such a nice person, and for those of us that watch her channel, we know how hilarious she is, and she always finds the best things. And even her fun delivered boxes, I would love to do a fun delivered box sometime. I think that would be fun, but I've told you guys that for me, that probably means I'd be giving away most of the stuff. And so then it's like, I don't know, but she is so supportive to all of us small channels. So just thank you. Yeah, she has such great advice, and yeah, I really, really appreciate her. And same with Favorites with Laura. She has been very encouraging and gives a lot of great advice also, and has a phenomenal channel, as you all know. So thank you to my members. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, all watching all the things. And I did just get paid, I believe, from my YouTube channel in the last couple of days, and I am going to try to take that money and use it specifically for a Temu haul. I'm going to try to work with coupons and stuff to try to make that money go as far as it can. It's only about $100, so it won't do a whole lot, but yeah, so I'm hoping to kind of figure out what I can do given my restrictions on my account for ordering from Temu. So thank you for watching. I'm going to try to get this uploaded so that, you know, come midnight, maybe it's available for you guys to watch tomorrow. And wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.